So this is the Gatsby theme publisher for a headless WordPress installation. So that means it's a static front end with a WordPress as a back end where you can publish posts and take comments and all that kind of stuff. All the posts and the comments and the users and everything is in WordPress in a separate place, and then the front end is all static, and this is what the theme looks like. As you can see, it is like crazy fast. It has things like a MailChimp opt-in. It has comments, and these comments are hooked up to the WordPress database. So when someone adds a new comment, it pushes it to the WordPress database, and then it pulls in new comments dynamically. So comments are the only dynamic part. The rest of it is static. And so you can see it's just crazy fast. And it uses Gatsby images for the featured image so that it pulls those in statically. It's got pagination. It's got nice drop-down menus. It's got a nice responsive design where it has a cool mobile menu. So it's pretty much a drop-in, and then it's ready to go. You just change a couple config items and you have a headless WordPress installation. So I'll show you quickly how that works. You can go to the theme repository on GitHub, you clone it, and then you install the dependencies, and then you're going to go to config.js and change these items here. The WordPress URL would be your actual WordPress installation, which does need to be accessible on the internet. So in my case, I have just a WP Engine site, and then the site URL is where you're actually going to output the Gatsby static files. So these will most likely be two different URLs. So in my case, like I have my WP Engine site, which has all of my posts and everything in it, and then the Gatsby site, which is hosted on Netlify. So the way to set this up is to clone this repository and push it to your own GitHub repo, and then change your config items, hook that up to Netlify, and publish that. You can also, you can obviously work with it locally using Gatsby develop. Instructions are on the repository. And what's going to happen is when you push an update to GitHub, Netlify will automatically build that, and then it will push the static site live. So it takes a few minutes to build it, so it's not instant. But like I'll give you an example. You can use my plugin, which is WP Netlify Deploy, and what you do is you just add in your URL to your, you add a build hook. I'll just show you a build hook real quick. If you go to build and deploy, I'm going to, let's see, you go down here and go to where it says build hooks, and then you add a new build hook. And what that's going to do is just allow my plugin to send, you add that webhook here. That way when a new post is published or updated, it's going to send that to Netlify and say, hey, go ahead and rebuild this, grab the new data, and push out the static site. So I'm planning on adding lots more options and everything to this, but to this WP Netlify Deploy plugin. But I'll show you how that works. If I am to create a new post, let's see, I'm going to add a featured image. So what it's going to do with this featured image is actually pull it in statically so that we can use Gatsby image, which has all these optimization features and everything like that, which is pretty cool. I'm going to publish that, and what that's going to do using my plugin is it's going to send, I should be able to see under deploys, you can see here now that it's building, deploy triggered by the WordPress hook. So every time you update or create a new post, it's going to tell Netlify like, hey, there's something new that you need to pull in, and it's going to build that. So it takes a couple of minutes. So the build just finished, and depending on how many posts and pages you have, it'll take longer the more stuff you have, because it has to, build all those assets statically. So once the build is finished, I can go out to my site and refresh, and you'll see that I have my new post here. So it's not instantaneous. If you had normal WordPress site and you press publish, it's instantly live. It does take some time to build, but the trade-off of it being just crazy fast is totally worth it for me. And depending on the type of site you have, it may or may not be worth it for you. But let me show you just quickly the Gatsby-theme-publisher code here. So I'm using Visual Studio, which is great for this type of thing. What you would do once you clone this repository is you're just going to run yarn or npm install, either one, whatever you want to use, and that's going to install the dependencies. And then you go into the config file. You're going to edit these items for your config. You're going to add your Google Analytics tracking ID. The MailChimp endpoint is actually, if you go to one of your embedded forms, it's the form action where that posts to. This is using the Gatsby MailChimp, Gatsby plugin MailChimp. And if you go there, it'll actually tell you how to get that URL. So it's right here. Log into your MailChimp account, click on lists, go to embedded forms, and then it's actually the form action URL. That's what you're going to put in there. So this is still very early and experimental. I'm planning on adding lots more features to it, but I hope you like it, and let me know what you think.